Hello, everyone. I'm Channing Chasten, your co-host of the One Soccer Nation podcast. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing one of my close friends, former teammate Ryan Flood. Ryan, thanks for taking the time, bro, to speak with us. Could you introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, of course. My name's Ryan Flood. I play with the local team in Arizona, Phoenix Rising. I play left back. Obviously, me and Channing go, a decent time back into high school days, teenagers and stuff like that. And we've always kind of been close friends. And then, obviously, took a little bit of different paths and stuff like that. And he took the college route, and I went tried to go straight pro, and then kind of joined back up in Phoenix. Definitely got a lot closer once we were teammates and stuff like that. The bond of friendship and stuff like that. And then now here we are. A little bit of a different path in life, but still close and still always kind of keeping up with each other.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate the kind words. And yeah, it's pretty crazy how our different paths across multiple times, like even in high school, Corona versus Hamilton. I remember the first time I met you,
Yeah,
he was like, we had that one tournament in Cali, and I first saw you, and I was like
yeah, yeah,
mountain, bro, and you hit a banger from it was like
yeah.
40 yards
I
out.
think
I
it
was
was
like, who is
against
this
like
guy?
Cathedral or something like that.
I was
Yeah,
like, who is
yeah,
this guy, bro? It was in a game too. It was a free kick in a game, bro. I was like, dang. Uh,
yeah.
yeah, that's like one of the first memories I remember of you, and then seeing you like you were on like Sereno and stuff, and I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
So no, it's crazy to see where we've come from and where we are now, man. But speaking,
Bro, speaking about yeah, yeah.
keep going.
Speaking about like Sereno, bro, that's crazy how much the like football has changed in America and Arizona and stuff like that. And bro, it's just like how the clubs have changed. It's crazy. Even like RSL and
Dude,
yeah, that's
it's like turning
throwback.
into a monopoly. I just had a conversation with one of my old coaches. Remember Belfort, David
Yeah,
Belfort.
yeah,
So I had a conversation with him literally yesterday, and we were talking about how the youth soccer has just changed, and some of it has been good, and some of it hasn't been for the best. Like high school.
mm,
Oh, you remember when we were playing high school? It was a high level. Like
yeah. I think that high school is just not valued anymore. To be honest, like I just don't think there's the money aspect, and like people they just don't see a profit in it. So it's just like kind of gone to the side.
I agree, but the thing is that when we played, I don't know about you, but for me, I felt like I was able to grow so much more as a player from club to high school.
Yeah,
I played a different role in my high school team. Like you were usually
yeah.
the best kid on your team from your club team coming to your high school, and you were able to play different positions, different roles, and that you were able to grow as a player personally. You know?
Yeah, even with that, even like the age differences. Like sometimes you're playing with people that are 4 years older than you in certain aspects, and it's like it kind of gave you that like I need to grow to like be successful, and you learn it from a younger age, which I think was really cool to take back into club soccer too. Because like you put yourself in an environment where you're playing 3, 4, whatever the age may be, and then you go back to people with your age, you're like, wow, this is it's slow. You feel like you learn the game quicker. You're like, oh, it's kind of slower. I can move around. Like I see things better. So I think there was a good aspect that way too.
I agree. The game definitely slows down. Like I even felt that when I trained with Rising just over the summer one summer, and you were still playing,
Yeah,
and I was
yeah, yeah. I remember that was what 2021, I think.
2021 during COVID, bro, and I was in the total
Yeah,
room by myself, had to come out.
yeah.
Man,
I
but
remember that.
I learned so much from those. Like it was, I think it was just 2 months, bro, over the summer, and the game just slowed down
Yeah,
just from being when I went back to college, just from being around those type of players, professionals. Like,
bro. Just people that understand the game.
mhm.
Yeah, I think it's a huge jump, especially I mean pro to college too. Like obviously I can't speak on it as much as you can because I didn't really get to have the opportunity to play in college, but I think the levels and stuff like that. I mean, I think like they're a little more closer now because like MLS Next Pro and college and like kids are making decisions on if they want to sign a deal professionally or if they want to go to college and take that route because especially now that money's involved in college, it's a little different. But yeah, like, just like for you and even other players to go from the opportunity of training with a pro team and then going back into an environment where you can be successful, I think it helped you a lot going back to Phoenix and signing there as well, and or having other opportunities wherever the case may be. So
Yeah,
yeah, I think it's crazy.
I think so too. I think you keep hitting on your journey, so I would love for people to like know like how did you get to this point of your career where you are now? You can start from as far back as you want. Whatever. The floor is yours.
Oh man. Shoot, how far do I go back? Like I'd say, obviously I was at the academy with RSL for a good 2.5 years, and I met a lot of people there that are successful in football, coaches and players. I got the likes of, I was roommates with Justin Glad. I got to play with Jose, who was obviously with Phoenix last season and the year before. Aaron Herrera, Brooks Lennon, who grew up in AZ, and now he's balling it out at ATL. There's the likes of like the names of Josh Dowdy and stuff like that at RSL, which it was really cool to experience that at a young age. And I think it helped me grow a lot as a player, like playing with those guys and a little bit older and stuff like that. And it put me into a perspective where I had to grow quickly. And if you didn't grow, you weren't going to be successful kind of situation. And after that, obviously I had my journey with Santos in Brazil, which was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. It was the first time I actually got to experience football outside of America. And what better place to do it than Brazil, where they're learning how to do these crazy things at 10 years old,
Mm-hmm.
And, I got to play futsal. I got to train with the team, stuff like that. I got, the experience of playing with certain players that, obviously Santos is it's a big place, and there's some big names that have gone through there, and it was just an unbelievable experience. And then, unfortunately, I had to come back with visa issues and stuff like that, being young. And also, my mom wanted me to experience high school as well and not just kind of throw the education to the side. So I came back, went to high school for 2 years, and then that's where we kind of got a little bit closer and we were playing against each other and all that stuff. But yeah, I enjoyed high school. High school soccer was, for me, a really cool experience. I got to become like a little bit out of my shell, as a kid my age, because I'd always been playing up and stuff like that. And it was just really cool experience, going around with like a bunch of friends, playing, traveling, get signed out of class, get to go home early and go play footy and all that stuff. You feel like the cool kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then, after that, obviously, right after high school, I went over to Japan, had a little bit of a stint there where I was playing with a J2 team. Amazing experience, a lot different than Brazil is. Brazil was a lot more creative and kind of, you see the game how it is, and you have, your joy and your laugh while you're playing. And Japan's a lot more fundamental and like, strict. This is how we're going to play, technical ability, not size and strength, but just outthinking people and the other team and stuff like that. So I got to learn a different side of football other than, America and Brazil. So my game is kind of like these puzzle pieces that I've kind of learned from everywhere, which is cool. And then obviously I came back, and then the whole COVID, I was with FC Arizona for a little bit. Cool experience. I got to meet some really, really good people there as well. The likes of like Noel Castillo and, Dave Rogers and all these guys that kind of helped me push my career to the next level as well. Dave Rogers also opened the door for me getting into Phoenix, because it's funny actually talking about it, but I had a couple trials with Phoenix,
Mm-hmm.
and they just weren't interested, and thankfully that I got into the door. I got a trial right after COVID happened, and I was there for about 2 weeks, and the next thing you know, I'm signing a 2-year deal, and my life and my career changed just like that, just because of one opportunity, which was sick. And from there on, it kind of just exploded, and I got really lucky that my first year in Phoenix, I got an opportunity to play, and I took my opportunity, and I got a good amount of games that year, and I earned myself a little bit of respect in the league and with other players, with other coaches and stuff like that. So it was a cool jump. But then from there, I got a call, from Dave Rogers after my second year, and he was like, "Hey, I'm taking a job in Ireland," and it was, for me, it was like, wow, I get to take my jump into Europe, and for a lot of us growing up, it was like, I want to play in Europe. That's the dream. That's the best opportunity for me to, express how good Americans can be in an environment around Europeans where that's their game. And I got to go there for 1 year, and unfortunately, the team had a little bit of um, unluckiness, and we just couldn't win games and stuff like that. And there was just other things that I couldn't control. But I had a good year individually. I had like 15 goals, 6 assists, and I was playing a little bit of a different position. Obviously, in Phoenix, I was playing left back. I got to go there. I got to play the 10 winger. Got to express myself as a little bit of a forward, and then unfortunately, things just didn't really click and work out in Harps, and I got the opportunity to come back here, and I was here for about 2, 3 days, and Vegas gave me a call, and I drove instantly out to Tucson, met with them, trained for 2 days, and then we had a scrimmage against Phoenix in the stadium, and I kind of showed up. I didn't tell anybody, and next thing you know, the words are going around. He's back. Oh, is he going to sign with Vegas? Blah blah blah. And got a call from Danny, who was the coach last year, and he really wanted me to be a part of the program and the process and the journey. So, obviously Phoenix is home for me. My family's here. I have a good connection with Phoenix. There's a lot of respect back and forth, and I was like, maybe it's a good idea to be closer to home. There was a couple personal things, and then next thing you know, we're another year, 2 years in Phoenix, and here we are.
It's kind of crazy. Like, I don't know if it is for you, but as you go through your journey, like, it seems like it's so long and it takes so long to get to where you are now. But did it feel like that quick or that long in the journey, or nah?
Honestly, I think there was parts of it that, looking back now, they felt incredibly long. Like there was, points where you don't get to play, or there's points where you don't agree with, a coaching staff or a coach, and it's just unfortunate. And it happens in football, and a lot of people, you don't understand this feeling until it happens to you, or you see someone that you're close to it and it happens to them, and you're like, dang, like this can really happen to anybody. Obviously, like you in your circumstance, you got injured. It was just unlucky, and it just kept, prolonging. And it was just like a situation where, you just can't get that bit of luck, And then there was points in my career that had the same thing. I came back from not playing for a couple months, and first game back, I score. Next game I start, and clean sheet, we win, and bang, my ankle gone. I'm out for the rest of the season.
I
And
remember that.
it's like,
I
dang.
remember that goal too against El Paso, banger. I remember it.
Yeah, banger. Banger. First goal in the USL as well. Yeah, it was sick, to be fair. And yeah, there's ups and downs to football. And for some, it may be a big up and down. For some, if you're lucky, it stays like this your whole career, and and you can just kind of fluctuate. But yeah, there's always going to be ups and downs. And once you realize, football is always like this, injuries, all this shit, it's a different it's a different demon, to be honest. Like, you got to deal with all these, and hold yourself accountable for your actions and your personality, and you got to make sure you always got a smile on your face. You're always working hard, and it show that you care. And it's a hard thing to do sometimes.
Yeah, I like that you said though, like, soccer is a whole bunch of ups and downs, and some people's ups are super high, some are super low. But I feel like
Yeah,
that's what the great thing about soccer and the beautiful game is because, bro, that's how it is in life. You're gonna experience ups and downs.
exactly.
But how do you keep chugging along? How do you keep pushing? And you've shown it.
Yeah.
You've shown through your whole career how you've gone through it. So I gotta ask, like, what's like one of the biggest challenges you faced in your soccer career to like getting where you are today?
Oh man. To be honest, I'd probably say, um, this is tough. I'd say trying to earn respect from a coach, or like trying to show them that your values can be used. And sometimes some people just won't see that value, and that's okay. Like sometimes one person doesn't see you as this, but the next person sees you as something even bigger. And I think that was the biggest thing for me, to be honest. I know injuries and stuff like that, they always happen, but something like this, your brain can't really understand it. You're like, why can't he see it? Why can't he understand that I can be helpful? And you always have these conversations, and you start like the doubt kind of comes in, and all these other things, and they can be hard to get rid of. And I think that's probably the biggest thing for me, to be honest.
I agree. I agree. I think that's super difficult. And it's hard to, I think people don't grasp how difficult the professional game is. Like any professional sports, it's not just the physical
Uh,
aspect. Like it really is
mhm.
the mental aspect. When you get to that level,
Yeah, for sure.
everyone's good. Everyone's good. Like,
Everyone's got the quality to play.
yep, it's like what's gonna separate you though? Like, do you have the mentality to keep going, keep pushing through, even when the coach may not see it, right? Are you gonna still be ready for your
Yeah,
opportunity? Say there's an injury and he has to put you in the game. There's no one else for him to go to.
yeah, he has no other choice. Yeah,
Are
he has
you
no
gonna
other
be ready?
choice.
And that's something I've always seen in your career from like being a teammate and then also like watching from afar. It's like you were always ready no matter what the circumstance was with the coach, with the club.
Mm,
You were always ready to like put your best foot forward. When you had opportunity, you were gonna take it. And like
mm.
if it wasn't for injuries or something else, you're not getting on the field because the coach was like, man, he's playing well. I can't take him at the starting 11, you know?
Yeah. Nah, I appreciate that. That means a lot, man, because there's a lot of things that other people don't see. Behind the doors of a player that's sitting there going through a lot mentally. Trying to battle the I'm not succeeding right now. What do I do? How do I change the outcome? How do I change the outcome of my choices or my journey? And a lot of people don't realize that it's you. You can change everything. And sometimes even the likes of last year, I knew it was going to be a hard, uphill battle, and I took the choice of going to OC to play. And I walked right into a coach that wanted me to be there and wanted me to be a big part of his team. And I got to play a lot of games last year at the end of the year, and it helped me a lot. And obviously, I don't think the coach here at Phoenix even looks at me or even takes a chance on me if I don't go on this journey and try to like lift my career in a certain direction. And these are the hard decisions about football or even sports in general. As a professional, you gotta look out for the career that you're trying to build and show to your kids or whatever your family, whatever the case may be. And I think that's like the hardest thing. It's the hardest.
I think like what some people get confused by is that they compare their journey and their career to other people. And you
Yeah,
see that.
absolutely.
Like me and you, we've seen
Mm.
players when we were younger that were super, super good, man. Like I think me and you were both like super talented growing up. But like I'm talking about the kids
Yeah,
that
sure.
the best national team at like 12, 13 years old. And then people are like, where'd they go? Like, they
What? Yeah, what happened?
they go down levels and it's like it's not always about where you are in that current moment, right? You know what I'm saying? You got to keep pushing
Yeah,
and you got to make the right decisions for your career, not someone else that's over there and it looks like they're being doing great. And I think
no,
that's hard
absolutely.
for people to grasp. So I got to ask, like, what's your why? Like, what keeps you going every day to like get 1% better and training to keep pushing in your career? What's like your why?
It's a good question. I think for me as a kid, um, I always grew up, and obviously my dad was a big baseball player, so he always kind of had all of us in baseball and stuff like that. And then I luckily, young age, like 3 years old, I started, and I got the ability to watch my brother play, and I got to see how he played, and I got to, enjoy that journey and the process of him learning how to play a new sport that our family didn't really even know, to be honest. Like my mom played it a little bit, but it was just, it was a different path completely. And I think for me, I fell in love with just like the way, the process of like learning something new and like using your feet to dribble something and like not being coordinated with it and like getting over that hump of like I can do this, like I can be really good at this and I can put my brain to this. And for me, obviously I didn't have that towards other things like school and stuff like that because when I was younger my attention span was so fast, like I had to be doing something, I had to be running around, and soccer let me do that. It let me express myself. And obviously I had a couple things happen in my life personally, and like losing my father for a little bit and stuff like that. And soccer was always there for me. I remember there was a day I was in court with my dad, and unfortunately I found out he was going to be prosecuted and stuff like that. And the one thing that day is I had a game with Corona, then like an hour later, and my mom's in the car like, hey, you don't have to play. We can go home. It's okay. Like, don't think you're giving up on your team and stuff like that. And I was sitting in the car ride, and the whole way home, I was like, yeah, like maybe I don't play. Maybe it's not like the right thing for me, right time. And then I sat there and I said, it's the only thing that's really truly made me happy. And all the times that I had problems and stuff like that, every time I stepped into those white lines, all the weight, all the problems, they go away. They go away for 90 minutes or whatever length you're playing. And I made the decision to go play, and from that point on, kind of in my personal life, I was just like, yeah, there's no other feeling that soccer gives me than any other sport, any other activity, or stuff like that. And it kind of put in perspective, like, I want to do this the rest of my life. If it's playing, coaching, being a scout that travels around and looks at raw talent or whatever the case may be, and having that journey of just being around a football, like it's like an itch that I can't scratch, and it's just like the love and the energy that comes out of me when there's a football around in the room or whatever that, and you want to juggle it, and you get distracted. It puts a smile on my face every time. So I think, yeah, it's just, there's something about football and in general that just like it gravitates.
Yeah,
And for me, I just don't want to lose that feeling, like I can't lose it.
yeah, like
It's unconditional.
I think it's like you talk about it, and it brings a smile to my face. Like even you just talking about soccer, because like, bro, it's
Yeah, of course.
it's
Like
impossible.
I'm getting chills just thinking about all the moments and all the smiles and dribbling somebody, like that feeling. It's just, it's unbelievable. And it's for other people, maybe it's art, creating a masterpiece or whatever. They get those chills.
Mhm.
And for me, it's football, and I just don't. It's just never going to go away from me.
Yeah, no, that's an amazing why. I think that's something like a lot of people can relate to, whether it's a sport, whether it's like you said, art, whether it's whatever it is they're passionate about. When something
Mm.
like that, you can't give it up, right? It doesn't matter how hard
Nah, exactly.
the journey is or how hard things are going, but you can't give up that love for that sport or that passion you have. Um, and I feel like for me, who was like your main idol then? That like I know you already had love for soccer, you already had the love for the game, but like who was your main idol where you were like, yeah, this is the guy I kind of want to model my game after?
Yeah, and I mean, it's funny to say because now, honestly, in my opinion, I think Neymar technically is the best player to ever touch a football. I think he's unbelievable, and he's my idol.
Mhm.
Um, but growing up, to be honest, I was a Ronaldo fan when he was at United, because just the way he did things and the flair and the stuff like that. It just made me want to watch and enjoy football for what it is. I want to make people smile. I want people to watch me and be like, wow, look at him, look at what he does with the ball. And it's that making people fall in love with the game as much as I'm in love with the game, and that's kind of how I want to play all the time. And yeah, there's just, I think Neymar for me is that player. Every time you watch him, you have a smile on your face. It's like Rafael Leao. Every time he's playing, he's smiling, and it's just like that feeling. It's unbelievable, and Neymar gives me that feeling as a kid watching him play and like letting him express himself. And for me, so I think Neymar is that idol for me that kind of let me enjoy football for what it is. Same with Ronaldinho, you
Yeah.
know, always dancing and this kind of stuff, and it just brings joy, brings happiness, and that's kind of how I wanted to project my life to other people. Be happy doing whatever you're doing, and that's how I kind of resemble my life behind my idols. So
Mhm.
I would say them.
It's crazy because I already knew you were gonna say Neymar. I already know.
I actually got the craziest jersey from a Vegas fan. It's a Neymar jersey, and all the parts of it are wherever he played. So like,
Wow,
yeah, it's sick, and he put all these patches together. It's crazy.
that's amazing. Yeah, I already knew you were gonna say that, and then I agree, man. Like Ronaldo at Man U, that was my guy, bro. I don't know what it was, even at
Yeah.
like that was my guy, and now it's definitely my idol. But something else I want to touch on is like I know there's other things you do outside of soccer that are your passion. So, like, how do you balance those two, your social life with footy, and then also like other passions you want to explore? How do you like navigate through that?
For me, obviously, football consumes your brain, especially when it's, at this point, it's a job now. It pays the bills, and it has a different aspect to it than, as your kid and you're just kicking a ball around having fun, and for the ability to go turn your brain off and focus on just football for 2 or 3 hours, however long you're at the facility, it's good. And then for me, getting away from that to come and obviously, I have the journey now that I'm starting with my clothing and stuff like that. And it kind of gives you ability to decompress and let go of all these thoughts and your brain racing around football all the time. And you kind of get almost consumed by it. You can kind of let go of that and put it to the side and be like, all right, that needs to sit here for a little bit. I'm going to go focus on these things and let my brain rest from this. And then when I come back to it, I have that energy and that passion to still to then drive and still get better, and not get stagnant. So I think it helped me separate and still grow as a player and continue to enjoy the growth and continue. Obviously, we sit here and talk about 1% better. It helps me get that 1% better every day instead of saying, oh, I can push it to the next day. Oh, I can do this. It helps me navigate and I can get 1% better on something that I enjoy, like the clothing or, whatever in the personal life I'm doing. And then, all right, switch my brain on. I need to go do my job and get better at what I'm going to be doing and try to get myself to the best I can get.
No, I couldn't agree. I think that's something that some players nowadays do a better job at is that, yeah, when it's your job and you're at training, you're locked in, right? You put everything to
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
the game, but you need to find something else that you're passionate about where you can kind of just also just decompress, let your mind be free, and think about other things, right? Because when you only think
Mm-hmm.
about soccer, go, 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 eventually you're going to get burnt out. And honestly, it does more harm than good, right? You got to have a good, healthy
Yeah.
game and other
Yeah.
things.
Because then you kind of see yourself go backwards a little bit.
Exactly, exactly. I think for me, bro, this has just been amazing to talk with you, to learn more about your journey. And I know it can inspire so many other kids and people that are older, just with like how you had perseverance throughout your entire career, your mindset, positive mindset, and not just soccer and life, bro. Like it's inspiring.
Absolutely.
Um, I know for me being a friend and like seeing from afar, it's like people don't understand the things that you've been through, other players go through as being a professional soccer player. So it's good for people to get like a little bit of insight of everything you've gone through, you know?
Yeah, of course. And
Mhm.
bro, I I have so much respect for you and what you're doing now. And obviously, I want to have a little bit of a question for you. And how did you make the step from kind of understanding that football maybe wasn't the journey for you, and then you kind of found something else that you were really passionate about and kind of and grew on it and took it and flourished with it.
Yeah, for me, bro, it's like I'm always passionate about, just having a good mindset and goal setting. So that's what led me to writing the book. And then for me, man, it was never like I'm done playing footy. It's like this is like a break.
Yeah.
I want to like set things up because I still play, bro, all the time. Like you said, that itch, that thing, like there's nothing like it. My dream,
Nah, of course not. I know we had a conversation, about in the off season and outside of Corona, with Darnell, and we're sitting there, and you go like, I still want to do this. You still had that urge, that fire in the belly, kind of thing. So yeah, I was just trying to see how you navigate that, especially trying to how well you're doing with the 1% and stuff like that. How you kind of like, all right, do I want to continue doing this, or do I want to try to balance both, or like stuff like
that's
that.
the thing I've been going through. Is for me, it's like, how do I create a system and things where I don't have to always be involved, where I can
Mm.
put it as a job again, and go all in with that. But yeah, that's to stay tuned, man, and we're gonna see. But we're gonna talk about that more offline. But yeah, bro, I appreciate you for taking the time, Brian, for joining the One Soccer,
Always.
bro. Like much love, and it's we're friends for life, so I appreciate it.
Locked in, bro. Locked in for sure.
Like, well, I appreciate you, bro.